Hey guys, welcome back to another creepypasta video, and the reason why I am commentating on this creepypasta video is because this is a remake of Jeff the Killer, and it was created in 2015. So I wanted to read this while commentating and seeing because in my regular creepypasta videos, I don't really get to express how I feel about the story. I just continue reading and reading and reading while trying to not make any mistakes or try not to get interrupted like 20 times. So I am going to read this Jeff the Killer story while commentating, just like Sony Warriors did. Sadly, I'm not going to post any. Sadly, I'm not going to put any music on because I don't want to get copyrighted and stuff like that. So, let's get started. Okay. The day Jeffrey Woods and his family arrived at their new home, the sky was overcast and the weather was muggy. The gray sky seemed to punctuate his mood. Jeff was not thrilled to be here. Their new home was beautiful, though, a true example of his father's newfound success, but still, it wasn't the home he knew. A week after they settled in, Jeff and Lou woke up early. The sky was crisp and gorgeous blue, and although the Louisiana heat was playing its usual cruel tricks, the brothers decided that a morning bike ride to explore the area would be just the right ticket to combat the slight pangs of homesickness they'd both been experiencing over the last week. "I miss home," Lou blurted out, as Jeff was smearing salsa on the microwaved burrito that would serve as his breakfast. "Me too, Lou, but I guess this is home now. So we just sort of have to make the most of it." "I know, but all of our friends and stuff are back in New Orleans. Remember that building we'd always sneak up on top and watch the city lights? Come on. I miss that." "Yeah, and ZM Video. The owner knew us and would always let us rent R-rated movies without our parents, and he'd always hook us up with a free video game rental if we got a few movies. Yeah, miss that too. But Lou, we have to." Lou interrupted. I know. We have to make the most out of this, but still, this place seems so fake, and Mom and Dad still treat us like we aren't even here." "Yeah, they do. I was sort of hoping the new house would improve their mood, but what can we do exactly?" Lou had no answer. Jeff finished his breakfast, and the two boys left the house to mount their bikes and explore around a bit. As it turned out, the subdivision they moved into was rather close to a cluster of stores and a small shopping center. Also, if you hear background noises, there's a baby outside, and yeah. Village Shopping Center was the name of the short row of businesses. Within these there was a Pizza Hut, a Chinese restaurant, a tobacco store, Sprint store, and what Jeff and Lou were most excited about, a video store. "We'll have to get Mom or Dad to come down here and open up an account so we can rent movies," Lou mentioned as Jeff flipped a box over to read the description of a horror movie. "Crap, you're right. Also, I'm not going to cuss throughout this." Jeff snapped, feeling a bit of frustration at this thought. He knew getting his parents to actually come down here instead of a membership would take forever, since they're usually after work routine to go off into separate rooms until they got hungry enough to come out and speak. Jeff glanced over at the girl working behind the counter. "Maybe I can go over and sweet talk her into giving us accounts," he joked. "That's a strange sight to Jeff." Yeah, right, Jeff. One look at you and probably ban us," Lou remarked back, a smile brooding on his face. "You doubt me, little man? Doubt you? The guy who's kissed 2 girls and almost touched a boob? Never. Please go on and lay on all the charm. Whatever. I totally could have banged that girl, but her parents came home, and last time you told me that story, you said her parents were out of town and her sister came home." Jeff became flustered, and while In the process of trying to make another comeback, the girl behind the register removed all doubt by speaking to the boys herself. "Hey, aren't those your bikes?" the young woman asked, pointing towards the glass window. Jeff and Lou looked over and saw 3 boys outside. 2 of them were riding around in circles on the Woods brothers' bikes. They would spin them around and jump off, letting the bikes crash onto the pavement just to stand there and ride them again. The 2 boys riding the bikes were both slim in build, while heavier boys stood on the sidewalk drinking a Red Bull and watching. Jeff and his brother made their way towards the door of the video store. When the fat kid saw them coming, Jeff couldn't hear what he said to his 2 friends, but he made some sort of gesture while shouting, and the other boys dumped the bikes where they laid and walked towards the sidewalk, directly towards the 2 brothers. "Those your bikes?" one of the boys asked as Jeff and Lou entered the summer heat. "Yeah. Why are you riding them?" Lou asked sharply. "We just saw them." "There, man, relax. Figured someone just left them out for us," the same boy responded, as his 2 friends joined him on the other side. Jeff, determined to make a good start, tried to change the course of his confrontation. "Well, they're ours. We just moved here about a week ago. We live over on Fourmont Avenue, a few blocks from here. We're just checking out the neighborhood." Jeff hoped that his subtle tone could turn things around, but he could tell the insolent look on the kid's face. This was a difficult gamble. "Interesting. Good for you. You moved somewhere," the fat kid remarked. "Oh, yeah, Troy," the first boy spoke. "They moved into the piece of crap house with a gravel driveway. I was wondering who would move into that place." "Well, Randy, now we know," the big kid, apparently named Troy, replied. Jeff, still trying to salvage the conversation, tried peaceful banter one more time. "Okay, so you're Troy and you're Randy. Well, I'm Jeff, and this is my brother Lou. We just moved here from New Orleans." "You ain't in New Orleans now," the third boy, who just now decided to speak, remarked. "Yeah, and the one who said... Yeah, and who the frick said you could call us by our names?" Randy asked, that insolent, privileged smile never leaving his face. Jeff smiled and responded to Randy, "Well, I guess I could have called you a big frickin' a-hole, but I figured I would give you the benefit of the doubt." That moment, a flare of rage replaced that smirk that rested on Randy's face throughout this entire exchange. The other 2 boys, Troy and the still unknown 3rd member of his band, seemed to be momentarily struck silent. Perhaps they weren't used to being stood up to. "Oh, I'm sorry. Was that language too adult for you?" Jeff asked. "And you, quiet boy. We know this isn't New Orleans," Jeff stated to the slim kid that reminded him of his geographical locations. Because if this was New Orleans, you 3 would have already have gotten your butts kicked for touching someone else's crap. The slim kid looked back and forth at his 2 friends. However, Randy, clearly the leader, seemed to know what to say. "Keith, you're gonna tell this little..." Ow! I had to bark because the B word also represents a female dog. So, ow! Talk to you like that. Jeff knew this part, and while he wanted... where am I? And while he wanted quite badly to suck Randy and his pals around, a real concern suddenly invaded his mind. If he and Lou got into a fight on their first week in this neighborhood, their parents would freak. You could practically hear it now. And while the things had been far from perfect in their home, even after the move, there was a peace that had fallen over the family, and Jeff, fighting his urges, decided to do his best to keep it. My dad came in. Okay. Baby, stop crying. Okay, anyways, Jeff looked over over the three, very well dressed, very privileged. What do you mean, very well dressed? Anyways, looking suburban kids before them and dismissed them. You guys are boring. Come on, Lou. Let them continue their play dates without us. Lou laughed at that, followed behind his brother towards the bikes. However, Randy and his little gang of would-be toughs would have none of that. They moved to block Jeff and his brother once again. Where are you going, pussy? Randy asked, shoving Jeff. Jeff could tell that Shove had no real conviction. Randy was trying to figure him out, seeing where his buttons were. He pushed harder eventually, but Jeff swallowed the slowly building anger within him once more. Jeff took a bit of exception to the shove. We're going to your mom's house, and me and my brother saved a couple of dollars from doing chores, and here she doesn't charge much. As the words left Lou's mouth, not Jeff's mouth, Randy appeared to only register a small portion of it all. Randy Hayden had grown up in Mandeville. His father was a partner at a local firm that made a lot of money. Something else that Jeff would soon come to learn. Randy and his friends, while the same age as Jeff, had grown up in a very different circumstances. They were used to being listened to. They were used to being feared. In fact, Randy, the target of the insult, just stood there. It was actually Troy, the fat kid, who stepped forward, fist balled, eyes squinted in anger. Who are you talking to? Troy shouted and took a wild swing at Lou. Lou, who was both better in shape and had sparred with Jeff a time or two during his time spent boxing, was able to avoid the punch, but just barely. Had that been all, my dad just brought in some food and I decided to eat. Anyways, off topic. Where am I? Okay. Had that been all, it may have once again ended there. Troy was clearly taken by surprise at Lou's speed, not strength. Actually didn't attempt another punch. However, these were bullies, kids that ran in a pack for some odd reason. The skinny one, Keith, stepped around and threw a punch that connected with the left side of Lou's face. Jeff had seen enough. He'd been shocked at how quick this evolved into blows, even though he'd expected it from almost the start. When he first met Jeff and his friends, he'd been curious. From there, he developed an annoyance with them, and slowly that annoyance evolved into anger. However, upon seeing Lou punched, seeing the small trickle of blood form onto his brother's lower lip, upon seeing the smug look on the satisfaction of Keith's face, the anger that Jeff felt suddenly exploded into rage that he'd never felt before in his life. Jeff Woods did not hesitate. He stepped forward, his foot automatically falling into the correct stand that he'd learned from the boxing classes his father once enrolled him into, and delivered a powerful right hand to Keith's face. The skinny boy had no time to register shock or pain. The punch caught him by surprise. His knees buckled. Keith went down to the ground in a heap of confusion, dawning fear. Randy, the so-called leader, was almost too shocked to move. He'd had quite a lot of experience starting fights, but no real time logged in losing them. He'd never felt control of a situation slip. He was used to being in charge, so now, seeing one of his friends go down so quickly and easily, left him in a state of shock that he had no idea how to address. Troy, on the other hand, seemed to have a plan, throwing another punch. He moved towards Jeff, deceptively faster than his weight would seem to allow, and threw two equal fast punches. Jeff, however, had no problem sidestepping both attempts. Wait, where's Lou here? Anyways, Troy, seeming lost for his actions, actually dropped his arms, as if to say, gee, what to do now? Jeff had the answer. He moved in, throwing 3 hooks to Troy's stomach. The hefty kid's eyes went as wide as pie pans. Hold on. Fitting a nap. I can't. Hold on, be right back. I'm back. Where am I? Where am I? Where'd it go? Okay. Fitting analogy. Sorry, Jeff thought. He staggered back, clenching his throbbing stomach. Jeff wasted no time and stepped in once more. Okay. YouTube. Now. Okay, anyways. I'm sorry. Where did I go? Okay, Jeff wasted no time and stepped in once more, fetching a sharp punch into the big kid's jaw, causing Troy to promptly fall on his... I'm not gonna say that. Jeff was reminded of King Hippo from the Punch-Out game he used to play. Yeah! Punch Out! I'm sorry. He couldn't help but smile. Okay, anyways. From all the interruptions from Sonya Warriors, I think I'm gonna end this video right here. So I'll see you guys next video. Try first be with you. And, I'm gonna continue reading because this is very interesting.